Hey everybody, I'm Elizabeth McSwan from eMac and Hedwig, and today's video is going to be about how to get sharper shots handheld. So here we go. Getting a wildlife lens is really exciting, but for some people it can also be a little bit intimidating because wildlife lenses are generally larger and heavier, and so the concern becomes, can I hand hold this lens for long periods of time when I'm out in the field? Of course, working from a tripod or a monopod is always an option, but having good hand holding technique is a really great skill to have for any wildlife photographer. It can help you achieve sharper shots by minimizing blur due to camera movement, or what is commonly referred to as camera shake, and it can also help you increase your body's efficiency so that you can hand hold your lens for longer periods of time without getting tired and needing to put your camera down, which can be really, really helpful when you're photographing a skittish animal or bird. The first thing that I think about when I'm hand holding my lens is how I want to hold my camera and lens. As you can see, the lens that I'm using here has a foot, a tripod foot, and some people like to hold the foot for this technique and some don't. I like to hold the lens itself. So I'm gonna loosen the tripod collar and I'm just gonna put that on top of the lens here, tighten it down so that it's out of the way. So now my hand can grab the barrel of the lens. I like to hold the lens as close as is comfortable to the camera itself. I try not to have my hands on the focus ring. My right hand, of course, is holding the shutter button and is doing anything that I need it to do, whether it's adjusting settings or a focus point or whatever. The next thing that I think about is hugging my elbows in towards my body and really pinning them in. And the reason for that is, it's for two reasons really. One of them is because I don't want to have all of the weight of my camera and lens in my arms and shoulders. I want to be able to distribute that weight throughout my entire body. And having my elbows in like this will help me do that. It'll help because I'm kind of using my body and my core to help distribute that weight. So that's the first reason. The second reason is for stability. Everything that I'm going to show you today is going to be about stability. It's going to be about using your body as much as possible so that you can really gain as much stability as you can for your camera and lens, to hold it still and also to increase the amount of time that you can have your camera up to your face. The next thing I want to do is I want to create some tension between my camera and my face. I want to push my camera into my face just a little bit and then my face into my camera, just to create a little bit of tension again for stability. It's all about stability. So I push my camera into my face. If I turn to the side, maybe it's a little easier to see. Just a little bit. And the other thing that I do is I really sort of scrunch my eye into the eye cup. So the top of this eye cup here is kind of near my eyebrow, and I just kind of scrunch it down like that to help again with that stability there. The next thing I think about is my body posture, my body stance. So I like to keep my core tight, my glutes engaged, my feet about shoulder width apart, whatever's comfortable, and my knees kind of loose. And again, I'm using as much of my body as possible to really distribute that weight and to create a stable base. So I have my elbows in. I'm getting that tension with my face and my camera. I'm scrunching my eye. I've got everything engaged. The good news is you'll get a good core workout when you're doing this, right? Who doesn't like to multitask? And then the last part is pushing the shutter button. A lot of people get camera shake when they push the shutter button because this sort of downward movement of the pressing of the button causes your camera to shake a little bit, right? So what we want to do is minimize that. And so instead of pushing down, we're going to go across like this. So it's just elbows in, creating that tension, and just moving your finger across the shutter button, just like that. So this technique can also be used from a kneeling position, and in some ways actually from a kneeling position it's easier. So I've got my right knee on the ground, I've got my left knee up, as you can see, and I rest my left knee, or my left elbow rather, on my left knee, and now all of the weight of my camera and lens is in my knee. So it becomes, as long as you can hold this position, it becomes a lot easier to handhold your lens for longer periods of time because your shoulders and arms are just doing none of the work. What is important to remember when you're using this technique kneeling is that your camera and lens are now a little bit further away from your body, and so creating that tension between your face and and the back of your camera, and kind of doing that eye scrunch, that becomes a little bit more important because it's a lot easier to kind of sway your camera from side to side. So really making sure that you are pulling your camera in to your face and vice versa is really vital to creating that stability. You can also use this technique lying on the ground. Again, because if you're propped up on your elbows, it's really important to have that stability and a little bit of tension between your camera and your face. I really encourage you guys to practice this method, even if you don't think that you need it. Even if you usually shoot with plenty of light and shutter speed is plenty high enough and you don't think that you really need to worry about camera shake, I would still encourage you to try this method in those instances, because when the time comes where it really counts, when you're in a situation where you're shooting in really low light and you're really pushing your gear to the maximum and you're really getting that shutter speed slow, you already have that muscle memory and you don't have to think about your stance and your body and and the stability and on all the stuff that I talked about, because you've already practiced it. So your body has that muscle memory already and you can get the shot when it really counts. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. I would really appreciate it. It would really help grow my channel. I would also love to know when you try this method, what your results are, or if you have any other tips that you would include to gain sharpness when shooting handheld. You can also find me on Patreon for as little as $2 a month. You can get early access to videos like this, along with a bunch of other really cool stuff. So I really hope you check it out. In the month of June, I'm going to be doing a cross-country trip in my RV, Hedwig, and we're going to go to Olympic National Park. I'm going to be posting patron-only content on Patreon for the whole month of June. So we would love to see you over there. Until the next video, everybody, happy adventuring, happy shooting. See you later. Bye.